Are you feeling unloved and neglected in your marriage, questioning if your husband hates you? Have you exhausted all your efforts to rekindle the love and understanding between you two, but to no avail? In this video, we'll explore an unexpected perspective on this heart-wrenching situation, the wisdom of Buddhism. Lesson 1. Tell your husband how you feel. If you think your husband hates you, you need to tell him how you really feel in an open and honest way. One of the most important parts of the Eightfold Path, according to the Buddha, is right speech. Speaking the truth, being kind, and having a reason is what right speech means. To begin, keep things cool and don't get angry. Pick a time when neither of you is stressed or busy with other things. Being open and vulnerable during the talk is important. To begin, talk about how you feel using I statements instead of accusing you statements. Don't say, "You never care about me," for example. Instead say, "I feel unloved and neglected." Being aware in everything we do is important in Buddhism. Pay attention to your words, tone, and body language. The point is not to judge or point fingers, but to talk about how you feel and what you've been through. This way, your husband won't feel attacked or guarded and will be able to see things from your point of view. Having kindness is another important thing to do. Keep in mind that your husband may also be going through a hard time, which may be affecting the way he acts. When you talk about your feelings with kindness, you make room for understanding and care to grow. By expressing your thoughts, you're not expecting change right away. You're just starting a conversation. Buddha taught us that change takes time and requires us to be patient and persistent. Saying how you feel is the first thing that needs to be done to heal and rebuild your friendship. Don't forget that in Buddhism, the way you get there is just as important as the end goal. Lesson 2. Listen to his response without interrupting. Deep listening, also called mindful listening, is an important part of Buddhism for learning and communicating well. After telling your husband how you feel, it's important to wait until he finishes talking before jumping in. This practice fits with the Buddhist idea of right listening, which means paying full attention and not judging what you hear. To listen with mindfulness, you have to be fully present in the present. This means putting your own feelings, thoughts, and opinions aside so you can really hear what your husband is saying. During talks, we often think about what we're going to say next instead of really listening. Buddhism teaches us to be present and pay attention, which helps us see things from the other person's point of view. Pay attention to your husband's words, tone, and body language when he talks. These things can help you understand his thoughts and situations better. Try not to talk over them, correct them, or fight. Do what's called active listening, which means showing that you are interested and understand by nodding, making eye contact, and making encouraging movements. One of the most important ideas in Buddhism is non-attachment. When it comes to listening, this means letting go of the need to be right or have your point of view accepted. Instead, go into the talk ready to understand your husband's point of view and with an open heart. Now that your husband is done talking, go over what he said again to make sure you understood it right. It's called mirroring, and it helps clear up any confusion and shows your husband that you value and respect what he thinks and feels. Listening without talking can be hard, especially when you're feeling angry or upset. But it is a strong way to connect and understand each other better in a relationship. Mindful listening shows that you care and respect others, which are important for healing and building trust. Lesson 3. Reflect on your own actions and feelings. Buddhism teaches us how important it is to think about ourselves and reflect. If you think your husband hates you, you need to take a step back and think about what you did and how you felt. This practice fits with the Buddhist idea of right understanding, which says that we should look inside ourselves to find out why we are hurting. First, find a place that is quiet and free of distractions where you can relax and think. Just think about your breath and let your mind calm down. Start to look at your feelings and thoughts once you feel calm and in control. To help you understand how your actions and words have affected your husband, ask yourself questions like, what have I done that might have led to this? Buddhist teachings tell us that everything we do has an effect on other people. Thinking about how you've behaved in the past can help you figure out patterns that may have led to the way things are between you now. Being honest and humble is important for this process because it can be hard to admit our flaws and mistakes. In addition to looking at what you did, think about how you feel. How do you feel about your husband? Are you still feeling angry, resentful, or disappointed? If so, it could be hurting your relationship. Buddhism tells us that it's better to accept and name our feelings than to try to hide them. If you name your thoughts, you can start to understand and deal with them. When you think about yourself, you don't have to blame yourself or feel bad. Instead, it's about getting clear and receiving understanding. You can take responsibility for your acts and make things better if you know what your part is in the relationship. This practice also fits with the Buddhist idea of right effort, which means consciously trying to develop good traits and get rid of bad ones. Thinking about what you did and how you felt can help you change. It helps you understand yourself and your relationship better, which makes it possible to heal and grow. Keep in mind that reflecting on yourself is an ongoing process that needs patience and persistence. Lesson 4. Think about getting professional help. Buddhism stresses how important it is to get help and direction on our personal and spiritual paths. When things are bad in your relationship and you think your husband hates you, it can help to talk to a professional, like a therapist or counselor. This fits with the Buddhist idea of right support, which says we should ask for help from people who can heal and help us grow. You can get the tools and methods you need to handle the complicated parts of your relationship from a professional. A therapist can help you and your husband talk to each other better by giving you an outside view. Aside from that, they can help find deeper problems that might be making the person angry or hateful. In Buddhism, the Sangha or group of practitioners is very important for helping people on their way to awakening. For the same reason, getting help from a professional can give you a safe place to talk about your thoughts and feelings. Both you and your husband can talk about how you feel without fear of being judged or criticized in therapy. You need to go into therapy with an open mind and a desire to improve the connection. Being open to new things and situations is something that Buddhism teaches us. If you're willing to listen to professional advice, you can learn useful things that can help you and your husband get back together. You might want to look into other types of help besides individual or couples therapy, like spiritual guidance or support groups. These tools can help you see things from different angles and give you hope as you go through this tough time. Asking for help from a professional is not a sign of weakness. It shows that you want to make your relationship better. When you do this, it shows that you are ready to deal with the problems and make your relationship stronger and better. Remember that getting better and healing take time and work. Asking for help can be a big part of that process. Lesson 5. Try to understand your husband's feelings. Empathy and kindness are very important in Buddhism when it comes to getting along with others. It is very important to try to understand how your husband feels when you think he hates you. This practice is in line with the Buddhist concept of right intention, which means genuinely wanting to learn and ease other people's pain. To understand how your husband feels, you need to put yourself in his place and see things from his point of view. Especially if you are hurt or angry, this can be hard to do. You can learn more about his feelings and situations, though, by learning sensitivity. Watch how he acts and listen to what he says without judging him first. What does he want to say with his words and actions? Could his behavior be caused by feelings like anger, sadness, or fear that aren't being expressed? Being Buddhist means going beyond what you see and trying to understand why people suffer on a deeper level. Having honest and caring talks with your husband is important. Find out how he's feeling and what he's going through. Ask him open-ended questions to get him to talk about how he feels and what he thinks. Give him your full attention and acknowledge how he feels as you listen actively. Also, you should be aware that your husband may be having trouble with his own problems and issues. Buddhism teaches us that everyone has their own problems and worries that they have to deal with. You can deal with your husband's problems more compassionately and understandingly if you recognize his struggles. Knowing how your husband feels doesn't mean you have to put up with bad behavior or forget about your own needs. Instead, it's about building a base of understanding and connection that can help you both get through the tough times in your relationship. You can make your home a more loving and caring place for your husband by showing that you care about how he feels and are willing to see things from his point of view. Remember that getting better at understanding is an ongoing process. To get closer to your husband, you need to be patient, put in some work, and really want to do it. You can make your friendship better and more stable by showing understanding and kindness. Lesson 6. Be patient with yourself. Being patient and kind to yourself are important lessons we can learn from Buddhism. It's important to be kind to yourself when you think your husband hates you. This practice is in line with the Buddhist concept of right effort, which means consciously and consistently trying to develop good traits and get rid of bad ones. It takes time to heal and grow. During this process, it's normal to feel stressed, confused, or angry. People who follow Buddhism are told to be kind to themselves and understand that change takes time. When you're kind to yourself, you give yourself the room and time you need to work through your feelings and situations. To be self-compassionate, you should treat yourself with the same care and understanding you would give to a close friend. Accept your thoughts without judging them, and let yourself feel whatever comes up. Buddhism tells us that it is okay to feel pain and sadness because it is part of being human. Do things that are good for your health and well-being. This can include things like awareness, meditation, and other things that make you happy and calm. Buddhism stresses how important it is to take care of our bodies and thoughts because they are linked. You can build the inner power and resolve you need to deal with the problems in your relationship by taking care of yourself. Realizing that mistakes and problems are a part of the trip is another part of patience. You might feel like you're not making progress sometimes, or old habits might come back to haunt you. Buddhist teachings tell us to be calm in these situations and keep working mindfully for good change. Surround yourself with caring, helpful people who can help you feel better and offer support. In Buddhism, the Sangha or group is very important for helping and guiding people. You can get stronger and see things more clearly as you work through your problems if you surround yourself with people who will help you. You don't have to avoid or ignore your feelings in order to be patient with yourself. Instead, you should approach them with a sense of acceptance and understanding. It means realizing that you are on a trip and that each step, no matter how small, is necessary. It's possible to make a better place for yourself and your relationship by being patient and kind to yourself. Lesson 7. Don't neglect your own well-being. The Buddhist ideas of right livelihood and right action stress how important it is to live in a way that brings happiness and peace to others. For your own health, it is very important not to ignore when you think your husband hates you. To keep your life in balance and unity, you need to take care of yourself. Start by putting your physical, social, and emotional health first. Do things that are good for your body, like working out regularly, eating well, and getting enough rest. Buddhism tells us that our bodies are temples and that taking care of them is a way to show respect and thanks. Take care of your emotional and mental health as well as your physical health. Mindfulness and meditation can help you find peace and insight inside. These habits can help you deal with stress and worry and make you feel more grounded and stable. Buddhism stresses how important it is to be in the present and find happiness and peace in this very moment. Find things to do and interests that make you happy and satisfied. Spending time in nature, being artistic, or spending time with loved ones are all examples of activities that can help you keep a good attitude and a sense of purpose. Buddhism teaches us to enjoy the little things in life and to see the beauty in the present moment. Setting healthy limits is also important. Tell your husband and other people what you need and what your limits are. As Buddhists, we are told to practice right speech and right action, which means being honest and firm in a kind and polite way. You can protect your health and make your relationship more fair and peaceful by setting limits. Remember that taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's what you need to do to live a healthy, happy life. You can build the inner strength and resolve you need to deal with the problems in your relationship by putting your own health first. Buddhism tells us that we can't pour from an empty cup and that we can better help others if we take care of ourselves first. Overall, the lessons of Buddhism can help you deal with the problems that come up when you think your husband hates you. You can make your relationship better by talking about how you feel, listening without talking over them, thinking about your actions and how you feel, getting professional help, understanding how your husband feels, being patient with yourself, and not ignoring your own health. Always keep in mind that healing and growing are continuing processes. By practicing awareness, kindness, and self-care, you can make your relationship and yourself a better place to be.